Gary was somewhat surprised when Doris Herman, a fellow EMT on the Kiowa ambulance service, approached him about joining the cast of the Borderline Theater in their upcoming stage presentation of You Can't Take It With You. Doris having performed in many of the local Borderline Theater productions since its conception. She bestowed that a featured part in the play required someone to play a xylophone, knowing that Gary as a musician, had played the piano and vibes. The play was a 3-act play by Moss Hart and George S. Kaufman, and also produced as a movie in 1938 starring Lionel Barrymore, Jimmy Stewart, and Ann Miller. With Doris's continued insistence, Gary was led to believe he would have a minimum of spoken lines, hesitating, then finally agreeing to be present for the introductory rehearsal at the Kiowa Community Center. With his arrival, Gary being greeted by many acquaintances and introduced to others that have participated in past play presentations, soon discovering his part in the play was the last to be filled. Tot Babcock, an elderly little lady, was the director, a charter member of Summer Theater of Emporia State University, having acted and directed many plays at the college level. Members of the cast included many from Kiowa and Hartna. Kiowa Hospital's Dr. Marcia Drury's husband, David Warsdell. Bob Sterling, the owner of Your Place and the Sterling Barn Catering Service, in Hartna, Bob having the primary role played by Lionel Barrymore in the film production. Others in the cast included Tommy Jo Hyde, a clinic nurse who lived in Kiowa, Lisa Wall, a dispatcher for the Harper County Sheriff's Department, Bob Thomas, a rural mail carrier in Hartna, Gene Geist, an assistant professor of education at Northwestern Oklahoma State University in Alva and a member of the Borderline Board of Directors. Also included in the cast was Bruce Bryan, manager of Tucker's Farm Store, Donna Dyer, a substitute school teacher, and Krista Hill Pollock, who would be playing Gary's wife Essie in his role as Ed, plus others complementing the cast. The first rehearsal was an introduction to the play's premise and an assembly of the full cast. Dramatist play service script books were distributed to each cast member. Gary, discovering that Doris's description of his part as Ed, having just 7 or 8 lines, was an error, finding over 47 speaking lines in the play. A bonus for the rehearsals was having Bob Sterling in the cast. His ownership of Your Place restaurant and the Sterling Barn catering facility found him arriving for each rehearsal with boxes filled with morsels of sandwiches and snacks. Weeks of rehearsals began for the 3-act play, the stage props being acquired, Lloyd Jacobs and Leon Eckert providing the stage construction, Mildred Farney and others assisting with costumes. Doris's husband Ed Herman, also an EMT on the ambulance service, was the sound and lighting technician. He and Gary traversing to South Barber High School in Ed's pickup to garner the music department's xylophone that they had generously loaned, a key component to Gary's character and the play. Gary, at first somewhat hesitant to the progress, but once the cast was conversant to their lines, was astounded to see the continuity of the script beginning to coalesce like a well-written musical score, each actor and instrument providing its articulation. The cast spending the latter days of rehearsal ameliorating the interfacing concert of the script, the cadence of the play crucial to its conception being fulfilled. The 3-act performance wasn't without incident. If a performer forgot or failed to give the correct lead-in line, it left the next performer in limbo, waiting for their cue. Gary, discovering it was better to memorize, not just the lead-in line, but several before it, enabling him to be prepared. Behind the curtain off stage was taught with the total script to cue a cast member if they had a lapse of remembrance. The total on stage cast numbered 19, with the director, stage manager, lighting, and sound technician and 9 others contributing to the pre-performance activity. Gary's role as Ed Carmichael was to deliver his wife's Essie candies, operate an antique printing press, supplied by Rex Zimmerman, the editor and publisher of the Kiowa News. Play the xylophone so Essie, performed by Krista Hill Pollock, whom had taken ballet, could leap and pirouette across the stage. The scheduled run of the play was for consecutive Saturday and Sunday performances, with the final Sunday a dinner theater presentation, all performances playing to a capacity audience. At the conclusion of each presentation, a curtain call stage introduction of the performers, followed by the cast lining the seating exit to greet and be greeted by those in attendance. Gary enjoying the experience of once again ascending a stage after a 20-year vacuity, not exactly the musical foray as in years past, but a satisfying introduction to the endeavor of theater. The borderline theater production of 1937 Pulitzer Prize play, You Can't Take It With You, was yet another consummating episode on a journey down the road of life.